The Royal Blacksmiths. Now, for a while I've been wondering, where do I even begin? Because it'd be very hard to sit down and make a 10-minute video that fully encompasses every aspect of Cole's character. He's received some of the best writing out of the whole main cast, and there's so much I want to say about him because there's so much to dissect. So instead of dumping all my thoughts into a broader analysis that wouldn't really do him justice, I've decided to take the hyper-specific route and focus on one episode, the first episode where he truly got a chance to shine as his own character, that of course being the Royal Blacksmiths. So let's take a trip back in time to Season 1. In Rise of the Snakes, Wu is training all of the ninja to reach their true potential, which is how they unlock their elemental powers, and how it's done is they each receive a kind of focus episode. First was Zane in TikTok, then Jay in Once Bitten Twice Shy, and then there was Cole. And the reason I'm highlighting this one specifically is because I don't just want to talk about it as an individual thing, I also want to talk about how well it sets up Cole's arc across the rest of the show. So, basic rundown. In the Royal Blacksmiths, we learn that Cole ran away from home because he didn't want to live the life that his father had planned out for him. His family all come from a long line of performing artists, and his dad, Lou, is particularly passionate about this. He put a bunch of pressure on Cole to follow in this legacy, and when that got to be too much, he ran away, which is how he eventually met Wu and became a ninja. He wrote occasional letters to his dad and told him that he was off at school somewhere, and he planned to keep things that way. But then it turns out one of the 4 Fang Blades the team has to collect has been embedded into the prize trophy of their town's annual song and dance competition or something, so he has to go home and try to steal it. And then things go wrong, his dad catches wind of his plans, feelings are hurt, hearts are broken, souls are destroyed, but then eventually they come to an understanding and they make up and everyone's happy, and this is the moment where he unlocks his true potential. So let's dive into this. What does it do for Cole in the immediate moment, and how does it connect to his character growth moving forwards? So right off the bat, I find it very interesting how out of all the ninja, Cole is the only one who has to keep his new role a secret. Being on the team isn't exactly a confidential activity, like Jay's parents even visit the bounty one time. So the fact that Cole's the only one who got put in this position is interesting on its own, but especially considering how important his role as ninja is to him. Before Lloyd, he was the original team leader. And we know that he cares a lot about Wu. They have a very father-son type dynamic in some of the later seasons, which I absolutely love. A lot of his little mini-arcs also center specifically around his role on the team, like when he gets turned into a ghost and has to adapt to playing a slightly different role, or when he loses the Traveler's Tea and feels like he's failed as their leader. Being a ninja means a lot to him, but he's trapped in this situation where he has to lie about it and pretend to be someone he's not. And I'm not saying being on the team means less to anyone else, because, it's literally the premise of the entire show. But we know that it has an added level of value to Cole because of how he unlocks his true potential. The common theme that can be drawn between all the True Potential episodes is being true to yourself, knowing yourself. Like when Zane discovers he's a robot, but he doesn't let that change his personality, or when Jay learns that he doesn't have to change himself in order to be liked by other people.
I know who I am!
You are the best you.
The fact that Cole's true potential centers around him being a ninja shows what an important part of him that role is. I think part of it has to be just the sheer extent to which Wu and his father contrast. Like, look at the True Potential episodes. The whole lesson that Wu is trying to teach the team is to be their best selves, to meet their own unique individual potential. He's not pushing them towards a set standard, he's pushing them to learn their own strengths and improve upon those parts of themselves, become the best versions of themselves. Key word being themselves. But then in the Royal Blacksmiths, we meet Lou.
What? You too good for the doorbell?
And Lou is basically his polar opposite. He's been raising Cole to follow one goal and one goal only, and that is to make a career in the performing arts. And all his life, Cole has been fed the message that he has to live up to these expectations, he has to go down this path or he won't be good enough. And you can tell the effects this pressure has had on him simply by the lengths he goes to cover up that he's training to be a ninja. He'd rather go undercover and break the law than simply tell his dad that he doesn't want to be a performer. So considering he's been facing that pressure his whole life, it makes a lot of sense that he'd come to highly value Wu's training as a result. Because Wu actually takes time to see and understand people as individuals and not just cardboard cutouts that he can do whatever he pleases with. There's actually one thing that Lou says that kind of weirdly stuck out to me, and that is,
Zane, you're like a machine. Don't change anything.
like, I know it's a joke, I know that Zane is a robot, so it's like, haha, funny, but actually think about this. I'm sure that by, quote, like a machine, he was referring to the dancing, but there could be a double meaning here. And I mean, we all know that the Royal Blacksmiths does not shy away from double meanings.
There's something I've been wanting to tell you.
Cause like, the word machine comes with the implication of something controllable, programmable, something he can manipulate to do his bidding. And even in regards to dancing, as he was using the phrase, it refers to precision, zero faults, zero imperfection. So the fact that this is what Lou chooses to compliment Zane on is quite interesting when you think about it. He also criticized Kai because of his hair, which A, has nothing to do with dancing, and B, is a very iconic part of his character. So we get this very blatant example of Lou basically shaming them for their individuality. So again, consider the fact that Cole spent his whole life like this, always afraid of meeting Lou's disapproval, never given the freedom to pursue his own interests. But then one day he meets Wu. It's gotta be a breath of fresh air. And over time, Cole comes to learn that he doesn't have to let other people's expectations dictate his life. He's allowed to make his own path and be who he wants to be. So then when he chooses to continue being a ninja, you've got, again, this neat little double meaning. Not only is he acting upon those lessons by choosing to follow his own path, but the path that he's following is that of being a ninja, being Wu's student, meaning that he's choosing to continue learning those lessons and standing up for those morals. But this moment of realization isn't how he unlocks his true potential. He unlocks his true potential by making up with his dad. After they get into a fight, Cole doesn't just turn his back on him and abandon this life completely. He goes back and he repairs that relationship. And this is really what makes the Royal Blacksmiths stand out as compared to the other True Potential episodes. All the ninja experienced a shift in perspective, like Zane, like Jay, like I was saying earlier, but Cole is the only one who not only does he change his own perspective, but he also changes someone else's perspective. He himself learns that he doesn't have to let other people's expectations define him, but he also extends this lesson to Lu. And the other thing is, Cole isn't the only one who does the teaching, per se. You've got this moment where Lu's angry that Cole's gonna try and steal the trophy, and even though Cole is also rightfully angry at Lu because of his behavior, he doesn't just disregard what he has to say. And he ends up listening and he does the right thing. He gets the trophy after a fair win. So it's not just the situation of Cole is right and Lu is wrong. They both admit that they made mistakes and then they forgive each other at the end. I think this line summarizes it pretty perfectly.
You saw me dance? More importantly, I saw you fight.
And this tells us so much about Cole. Even when he's really upset, he's willing to look past his own anger in order to do the right thing.
I saw you stand up for what is right.
And by doing this, he inspires other people to do the right thing as well. That's how he unlocks his true potential, not just by lifting himself up, but by lifting other people up with him, because that's who Cole is. Cole is a leader. Because then you've got later examples, like the Elemental Alliance in Season 4, the Upley in Master of the Mountain, and then when he reassembles the team in Crystallized. It can all be tied back to the Royal Blacksmiths. This is why so many people say Cole's the team leader, because he is. They all have these moments where they unlock their true potential, but Cole's the only one who has that extra moment where he inspires someone else with the lessons he's learned, which is exactly what it means to be a leader. And I love some of the ways in which this gets explored. Like in Seasons 8 and 9, Cole is the one who fills in for Wu in his absence. He's the one who went searching for him, following up on all those leads, trying to find him. And then when they did find him, you got sort of this role reversal where Cole was the teacher and Wu was the student. And it comes back to the idea of leadership, but it also sort of holds up a mirror to the Royal Blacksmiths. I mentioned earlier that Wu and Cole's dad contrast a lot, and also that Cole and Wu have basically a father-son type relationship across the series. And in Season 9, we can see how much Cole appreciates everything Wu's done for him, because we see him repaying the favor, teaching Wu all the lessons that he taught Cole originally. The other thing is, it explores the idea of filling in for Wu, filling his shoes. It's a close parallel to how Lu wanted Cole to fulfill his legacy and live up to their family name. But the difference is, in Season 9, no one's forcing Cole into this position. He's leading the team because he believes it's the right thing to do, it's what he's passionate about. Wu is certainly an influence who helps him get to this position. But there was never a moment where Wu said, you have to do this or you have to do things exactly as I did them. Cole has all the freedom to make his own decisions, and because of that, he realizes that he likes being the leader, because that's who he is.
We're gonna win this competition, but we're gonna do it our way.
So again, the Royal Blacksmiths wasn't a matter of him walking away from his old life completely. It was him acknowledging that this is where he came from, this is where he grew up, but that doesn't mean it's all he's destined for. And the way that he reaches out and brings people together is reflective of the leadership role which he eventually goes on to establish for himself. It's foreshadowing to Master of the Mountain. Over there, we see similar plot points, Cole feeling overshadowed, feeling like he won't be as good as someone who came before him. But one of the things he learns is that his mom's legacy as the Earth Elemental isn't a set of criteria that he has to match one for one, but it's a platform that he has the opportunity to lift himself up with. Lily, like Wu, is a major influencer in his life, and he's learned a lot of things from them, he's followed a lot of their examples. But at the end of the day, he still has and makes the choice to be his own person and establish his own legacy, while using that guidance he's received to better himself. You could pair this with the analogy of dancing from the Royal Blacksmiths. At the start of the episode, Cole says that he doesn't enjoy dancing because he can't do it, because he's not good enough. But then as he learns not to bind himself to others' requirements, you can see him gain confidence. And then throughout the rest of the series, he actually likes dancing. Now that he doesn't feel trapped by pressure and expectations, he actually quite enjoys it. So I think in retrospect, looking at the whole series, The Royal Blacksmiths is a really, really great episode. I honestly think it's brilliant. It's this wonderful introduction to Cole's character, his conflict, and it's all delivered in this one goofy little musical theater episode. I've loved seeing Cole's progression over the series, and I love how well crafted his storyline is. From The Royal Blacksmiths, where he decides who he wants to be, to Master of the Mountain, where he fully steps into that role and achieves what he's been working for. I just love Cole. He's become a very special character to me over the years, and this will always be one of my favorite episodes. And if I haven't convinced you of its majesty, just allow me to regale you with its beautiful musical composition.
My poison lies over the ocean. My poison lies over the sea.
Guys, it brings a tear to my eye. So yeah, this has been my unpacking of the Royal Blacksmiths episode, and now we have reached the part of every video where I ramble nonsensically in the hopes of stringing something together that sounds remotely like an acceptable outro. I should really learn how to do this better, but I guess for now I will see ya.
You too good for the doorbell?